Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am your host, Andy. I didn't forget my name. Why did I pause? That was really.
Just about to shout it out for you.
That was really weird. And now that other voice is Hanna,
Hey.
other co-host.
What's up?
What's up? We're at the far end of the table.
I know. I was just going to say, this is so funny.
Yeah.
You're far away.
And then we have our concession stand.
Yes.
Editor, producer, beer slinger.
What's critic?
Hot dogs. Get your hot dogs here.
Peanuts.
Yeah.
Popcorn. Cracker Jacks.
That's unrelated. We were just talking about Fenway before there. Really, I honestly have no idea. This
God, Hannah, did we segue?
Amazing segue.
No. I mean, meh.
That's what we should do. We should just start making like random openings and trying to make them tie in.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done that game? Probably not. So there's a game where you try without prompting or anything, you and whoever you're around. So you could do it with 3 people. It's harder the more people you add.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like you count to 3, and on the count of 3, you shout out whatever it is you're thinking of. And then from there, you try to connect the 2 thoughts.
Ah.
So every time you have like a 1, 2, 3, I'd shout out whatever. It could be
Snorkel.
Person, place, or thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So if I shouted out green and you shouted out snorkel, then we'd have to take a second to think of something that might be a connection between those 2 things.
Yeah.
So that we say the same thing at the same time. So we do each round until you...
Oh, until you said the same thing. Ah.
Yes. It's a good little car game.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It makes me think of anytime someone's like, hey, I have a question for you, I always guess the answer.
Yeah, kind of.
It'd be like Albuquerque, which is one of my go-tos. And they'll be like, I'm like, yeah, but how cool would it have been if
it was Albuquerque, right? Yeah. What are the chances?
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of what it made me think of. Like, yeah, you
Okay.
guys say a random start, just whatever we were talking about before, and see how it segues.
So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about somewhere in Boston.
See, we were totally right.
Kind of close.
Yeah.
So I believe this episode we can probably land it so it comes out next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Black History Month.
Oh,
And we
okay.
typically do something
Yeah.
of Black history.
That's right. It is February.
Yeah. And less of a topic, less of like a person of interest or anything like that. I wanted to talk about what people could do to be a little bit more educated the Black history in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So little touristy like bit, but that's
so this
okay.
will be like, look out the right side of the podcast and you'll see.
Yeah, like I don't
right.
know. Like
All right.
I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I looked at some of the stuff on our list and I was like, I don't know. Maybe it would be nice just to get people outside come spring and know that they could go and find out some good history from doing this. So there's the Black Heritage Trail. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
So we have the Freedom Trail on our list, right?
Yeah.
And that's that red
everyone's
line.
heard about.
That's the red line through Boston. That
It's not the red line.
No.
It's the red line.
it's a literal painted red line
Yeah.
on the sidewalk.
It's less likely to be down at any given time.
Yes, and it's you go past like Paul Revere's statue and like through the North End and like past.
I've never done that.
I haven't either. Not with intention. Have I like walked along it for a while? But
Yeah.
no, I haven't like stopped at any of the places.
We'll put it on the summer vacation list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So there's the Black Heritage Trail, not marked out quite like that. There's not like the line that you can walk through history, but it is obviously mapped out online and like I don't want to say advertised, but you know, out there for people
I feel
to see.
It should be. I mean, at least as well
No,
as the
I'm
freedom.
just saying like the map isn't like. No one's like advertising the map, but if you look it up, you'll be able to find it very easily.
Yeah.
And it's a walking tour.
Okay.
I was going to say obviously, but that might not be an obvious thing.
No.
Right? Could be any kind of tour. And it's within like the area around Beacon Hill.
Oh, okay.
So around the State House.
Yeah.
And that kind of area. The trail has 14 locations. and you can stop and visit them. I believe there's plaques information around some of them.
Yeah.
But some of the stops are private residence. So it's not like you can stop and go into every single spot that's along the tour.
But it'll still, like, I'm assuming online explains to you why you're stopping at that house?
Yes. So online gives you, like, just a little blurb about each place. And I'll let you know, like, how you can take the tour, too. But, so you can view some of the locations, but not necessarily visit all the locations.
Yeah.
Because some people live there. So don't go into every house you stop at.
Knock first.
Yeah, right. And these stops highlight the locations where Black or African American community both struggled and organized to gain equal rights. So of some importance, all the way starting from like colonial times up until and through and past the civil rights. Like,
oh, okay.
So history kind of further out and closer to what we know from like people who are still around. It like varies from importance in histories. Like there's a house that's a stop that was part of like the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
And then there's another stop that was used for organizing during civil rights. So, like I said, kind of all throughout history of Black Americans. The first stop and where you start is at the Memorial for the 54th Regiment of Massachusetts.
I think we've done a podcast about that.
Yes, we have. Do you know where that memorial is?
In or around Beacon Hill?
I think it's like right near the State House.
Okay.
It's like kind of
like I can picture it. I don't know if I've ever seen it in person.
It's like a bronze plaque, and I believe it's like kind of right across the street from the State House entrance of the State House. Yeah. Another location, and I'm not going to give up all the locations for everyone because I know. Because it's just fun to.
It's important to go take the tour.
Yes, exactly. I'll share a couple, but
all right, couple highlights.
Yep, and they're not even highlights of any like.
She's not going to share them all. She's going to share 13 out of 14.
No, I have like 2 or 3. The Phillips School, which is one of the first integrated schools in the U.S. It was a public school, and it was integrated in 1855. That's one of the stops. Another one is Charles Street Meeting House. And it's was a church at first, but then became regularly used for like what churches are used for, meetings and places, and it was used specifically for activist movements for African Americans. And then there's the Lewis Harriet Hayden House. Do you guys know who?
I mean, I do, but you better tell the listeners.
Lewis Hayden. He was integral in the Underground Railroad in Boston.
Oh, okay.
And it was a very active home within that. And like a lot of people think that maybe the Underground Railroad ends around here.
Yeah.
Like in Massachusetts, but as we know,
it goes up to Canada.
From other episodes that we've done, that's actually not the case, and people were still being captured and stuff, and tried to be forced back into enslavement in Massachusetts. So. Right. Those houses were equally as important, or stops, or however, because it doesn't necessarily need to be a house to be a stop on the Underground Railroad. But let's see here. Oh, a few different ways to take the tour.
I think you can walk it.
You can definitely walk it. That's the only way you can take it. Can I ride my bike? I think you could, but it would be a challenge just because of the. It's not a great distance that you have to go. It's 1.4 miles.
Oh, that's not far at all.
No, so all the stops are really close to one another. It takes about 90 minutes. But you can take it as a tour that's guided by the National Park Services. So you can like go online. Cool. Yep. And I think it's open from spring to fall. And you can like go online, sign up to take a tour, and have it be guided that way. But you can also sign up and like download the audio tour for it.
Okay.
So like where buildings might be missing or not really,
or a home,
sharing that much information, because I'm sure they're like marked off, but not everyone needs to have like a giant plaque on their house, or like informational board telling you what that house was for.
I'm gonna put one on my house that just says Andy lived here.
Yeah.
Make it look all official.
Yeah. So you can take the audio tour. Have you guys ever done an audio tour?
Not like that.
Not like headphony.
Yeah.
I've done them headphony, but I haven't done them like out and about. Like I've taken them through like a museum.
Oh, okay. I have not.
Neither have I. I read faster than I listen, so I always feel like the audio tour is slowing me down.
Gotcha. So this is not on the topic of this, and I don't mean to take away from this subject, but Plymouth has an audio tour.
I knew that.
Yeah. I've never taken it, but there's some stops that you don't have anything to read. It just tells you that this is where you should interact with your audio.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of the same deal with that.
Probably.
Right.
I think.
Children 8 years and older can attend the tour, but anyone below 8, unfortunately, is not allowed. If you're doing the, I assume if you're
I was going to say, that seems really strict.
if you're doing it with like the guide.
Yeah, and if you're doing it by yourself, you have to put your hands over your kids' ears the whole time.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
But I mean, that's probably because they talk about some pretty
Awful
heavy
things.
stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
I imagine if you take the audio tour though, probably fine.
It has like one of those boxes like, are you 8 years old? Click here.
Yeah, yeah.
How many traffic lights do you see in this picture?
Yeah. It is not a super accessible tour, which like most things in Boston, if someone needs to use a wheelchair or has a hard time walking around because of the like how uneven the pavement is in certain areas. So just a heads up for anyone. Accessibility is not guaranteed, unfortunately.
I feel like that's just Boston in general.
It is, but wanted to make the disclaimer. It ends at the Museum of African American History.
Didn't know we had one.
There you go. I was like, this is perfect. It's like, can just share all the ways that you can just go find out more, you know? So the museum is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. right now, Tuesday through Sunday. Could be winter hours, though, so might be a little bit more open during some warmer weather. It's one of 2 locations, so there's one in Boston, but there's also another one in Nantucket. Yeah. I was like, Nantucket? I've never even been to Nantucket.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, was there like an African American community in Nantucket? Like that just seems like a weird place to put it.
Yes. I don't know. I'd have to find out, but I mean, I'm sure. I think there's a need for the remembrance of everything that happened to.
Yeah, but it's just like it's it's just like one of those like it's not easily accessible. Like why there?
Yeah, was there a specific like event that kind of led to that location being determined or something? Yeah. So the museum, like most museums, houses a lot of artifacts relating to the prominent events and people that kind of have survived this area and beyond of African American history. They host online exhibits as well as online events and
that's cool.
And in museum events. So went through and looked at what they have. I think they're oh my gosh. What's it called when they have an exhibit that doesn't hang out for a long time? Yeah, it's still an exhibit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you not ask me, I would probably know. But.
So right now they have one on like the history of jazz and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And as well as like their normal year-round exhibit. And when you go to buy a ticket, you actually enter through the Abel Smith School. So I believe it is attached to that school, or it's a little confusing for me, but that's the entrance and that's where you buy your ticket. Yeah. So I don't know if there's like an extension off that building, but you go in through an old school.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that school has some sort of attachment to the history.
I think so, yes. Yeah. And then, I mean, that's really it for the Black Heritage Trail, but I had never heard of it before.
I had no idea. I didn't know there was a Black History Museum in Boston and or Nantucket.
Yeah, so I figured if I had never heard about it, and I am someone who appreciates history and things like that, it's something that should be shared.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at least give people an idea of something they can do in the nicer weather
and something that's a little different.
Yeah.
You know, that, like I said, I've never walked the Freedom Trail before, but
yeah.
doesn't mean I feel like a lot of people do it. So.
No, I know. I think it's a big touristy thing, but I thought this definitely deserves some recognition.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So
I was up to the school.
I was looking into Nantucket.
Oh yeah.
Because it seems
Weird.
A little odd. And I mean, I didn't dive too deep because I feel like that's more of a full episode than I don't have.
Yeah.
However, one thing that did hit me is the reason that the Massachusetts schools were desegregated in 1840 was because a girl in Nantucket wanted to go to the high school and basically made it a thing.
Oh.
So the first law that desegregated education was literally a girl from Nantucket saying, I want to go to high school. And basically...
And that makes total sense because on Nantucket, you have no options.
Yeah.
And Nantucket had outlawed slavery in 1773.
Wow.
Like basically, on the island, it was done.
Right.
Huh. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Way back.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. And so I guess...
shout out to Nantucket.
Yeah, Nantucket has some historical relevance for what we're talking
Stuff
about.
besides whaling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
That is. Never saw it coming.
God, I just think of it as rich people.
I know.
That's it.
I know. But it's definitely something that I'm going to look into doing at some point. The Black Heritage Trail and Museum of African American History sounds really interesting too.
Yeah.
It's good to know it's...
Sounds like a field trip.
How far away is it from us? Like...
45 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
On a no traffic day, you know what I'm saying?
No, those don't exist anymore, Hannah.
I know, they really don't.
No.
They do. Every time I'm like, I'm going to need 2 hours to get to this location because of traffic, I get there in 45 minutes. I'm like, awesome. Now what?
That's how it works.
I mean, usually that's a brewery, so you can find something to do.
Yeah, but usually it's like they're not open at that. I'm just waiting in the parking lot like a crazy person.
And then, in case anyone has never taken a tour through the National Park Services, have you guys ever done that?
I don't think so.
No.
I would suggest, if you can, sign up for that one. Because I've taken a couple tours through the National Park Services, and they're awesome. They're super thorough, like very engaging.
Are you like, you better be good, I have a podcast?
No, but they're worth it. So if anyone's out there interested in this, and it's obviously something you could just do on your own.
Yeah.
That even without the audio tour, I think people could find ways to look up things about all the stops along the way. But if you decide to do it at all, I would suggest doing the National Park Services one.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Put it on our bucket list.
That's right. I think it would be cool. That's really all I got on that, though. I just wanted to share something fun that people could do that had to do with educating yourselves on some Black heritage in Massachusetts.
Cool. I guess this is the part where we stop talking. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.